ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive. Winner of the 2024 West Virginia Broadcasters Association Excellence in Broadcasting Award for Best Talk Show.
Welcome in. It's Monday, June 10th. Let's get your first day of the work week ended on the right note. Our text line this hour is going to be 304-396-TALK. That's 304-396-8255. Open text lines throughout the day. It's a light day in sports. It's Monday, of course. We had Stanley Cup and NBA action over the weekend, plus baseball action. The Pirates fell to the Twins yesterday, 11-5. Pirates are going to be off, at least from the radio side of things, for the next few days because we've got Cats baseball. They win a couple of games over the weekend. We'll talk about that with you, as well as look ahead to the series coming up. 4 games coming up this week at Jack Cook Field. So Cats are 2-2 now, and they got a lot of offense in the series against. I like the name, the Axemen. It's one of my favorite names in the Appy League, the Kingsport Axemen. One of my favorite names. I do like it. So the Cats get the series win. We'll go over that with you in just a few minutes. And, of course, as I mentioned last night, the Pirates fell to the Twins. They've got the night off. The Guardians get the victory over the Marlins 6-3, and the Reds fell to the Cubbies 4-2. Pirates, Guardians, and Reds all off tonight. Of course, tomorrow the Pirates will be in action taking on the Cardinals and the Guardians. It's the Battle of Ohio taking on the Cincinnati Reds. So how was your weekend? Of course, we had an interesting couple of days in the NBA. Last night, the Celtics get the win over the Mavericks, 105-98 in Game 2 of the NBA Finals. Boston leads that series 2-0. I'm pretty much going to have to live with my prediction that maybe Dallas could win this in 6. Dallas isn't winning this in 6. Dallas isn't winning this in 7. If it goes to 7, I'm going to be pretty amazed. We'll see what happens. But I thought Dallas looked better in the second game, but the Celtics still with the 105-98 victory. We'll have all those games on our sister station, Cat Sports 93.3 and 1340. This is the 9th time the Celtics have won their opening pair of games in the NBA Finals. They have won the previous 8 and have never been forced to a Game 7 in any of them. So the Celtics might be on their way to yet another franchise championships. Of course, I remember back in the day, it was Lakers and Celtics for me. That was the series I look forward to the most every year. Lakers and Celtics. And I was hoping that the Lakers could maybe turn this thing around, but not so fast. Dan Hurley announced he's going to stay as the head coach of the UConn men's basketball team. He turned down 6-year deal, $70 million. That is $70 million. That's not $7 million. That's not 17. That's $70 million. The Lakers would have made him one of the 6 highest paid coaches in the NBA. 70. Are you coaching UConn? If someone walks up to you and says, here's a 6-year deal, $70 million. He must have not liked what he saw or just didn't have a feeling that it would be the right fit for him. He talked to the Lakers, and before that, he had an offer from UConn. And so those will continue. Those conversations will continue. I don't think he's going anywhere from UConn. I don't know if there's an NBA job that could lure him away. I don't think there's a college job right now that could lure him away. I mean, he's built something pretty special. You win a national championship with UConn, then do it again. I don't think you will bolt for another program. I don't think like a Kentucky could come in and swoop you away. Not that they would want to at this point. But I don't see him leaving anytime soon. I don't think you're going to look at him taking an NBA job anytime soon. Honestly, I think it was the right decision for him. The money was right, though, $70 million. But let's see what happens at UConn. He could win his 3rd straight national championship. And I'll be honest, I like Billy Donovan a lot. Billy Donovan goes to the NBA, and I don't think it's been a bad career for him, but what if he had stayed in college? What would Billy Donovan look like now as a coach staying in the college ranks? I don't know if the money would have been there for him, but I think might have been a better decision for him. So this is pretty impressive. You turn around and you look yourself in the mirror and go, okay, is $70 million worth it to go coach in the NBA and to coach LeBron James and an obvious rebuild? This wasn't you're walking into a dealership and they're going to hand you the keys to the Cadillac. Here it is. Pristine, engines ready to go. Here's the keys. Just turn on the ignition. Drive this thing off, win us a championship. No. It was more like a Yugo. Here. Can you get some value out of this so we can trade up? I wouldn't have taken the Lakers job. Well, okay, if they offered me $70 million, I would have taken the Lakers job. I wouldn't have won any games, maybe. I would just say, okay, LeBron, go out there. You take control. I'll just sit back here and do what you say, LeBron. Go ahead, go. I would have done that. Me. Coach Hurley? No. Probably smart on his part. So busy night in the NBA, and of course the Celtics will continue their series on Wednesday and again Friday in Dallas. Those games are going to be on our sister station again, Cat Sports 93.3 and 1340. Boston has not lost on the road this postseason. They've not lost. So for this to become a series, Dallas has got to do something that hasn't happened, and that's beat the Celtics. A Celtics team on the road has to lose. And I don't know. This might go 4. This might end up going 4. Stanley Cup Finals, Saturday, the Panthers beat the Edmonton Oilers 3-1. That kind of shocked me. Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. Florida leads early 1-0. Tonight, Oilers and Panthers, Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final. You can listen to that game. We've got an off night for the Pirates, so we've got an opportunity to bring you that game. Game 2, Stanley Cup Final, coming up tonight right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I don't know if you can keep that Edmonton Oilers offense quiet, but Florida's been tough. Florida's got it done in net. Should be an interesting game, too. We got it for you again coming up tonight right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. So Cold Cats back in action tomorrow. Got a home series coming up at Jack Cook Field. Did you follow along this weekend? If you did, you found out the Cold Cats actually have some offense about them. So we're going to get into that with you, and we'll look ahead to the series coming up tomorrow. Take a look at what's happening in the Appalachian League. Cool thing about the league here is Monday, everybody's got off. I like the way they schedule this, though. Everybody's got off Monday. It's an off day. This isn't a league where you're going to be traveling all the time. There are some built-in moments for you to kind of regroup. Again, we're talking about college basketball. We're talking about college baseball, and we're talking about a league that's developmental. So let's not go ahead and wear these guys out. Let's pace this thing. So Mondays are off day. We'll get into Cold Cats with you. There's a couple other things that are happening. Learfield's getting into the NIL business a lot more. We'll get into some of the things that are happening. Marshall football signing a new 3-star wide receiver over the weekend. We'll get into that. And we'll take your text, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. And toward the end of the show, because, well, I want to make sure the intern stays happy, we'll talk about possibly who's going to be on the cover of Madden. The upcoming Madden is coming out. Who's going to be on the cover? We'll find out later this week. But could it be? Could it be a favorite, a tri-state favorite? Could it be a player that we all know and love? If we have time, we'll get into that. Again, I got to keep the intern happy. He is saving every single penny he is making right now. He is saving it for the college football game that's coming out next month. He is saving. Seriously. I mean, I've seen him just like with crackers and cheese. Like, hey, that's your lunch? Like, yeah, I got to save every single penny playing college football. Then I looked at him and like, how can you do this internship if you're going to be playing this game? Didn't have a good answer for me, but we'll find out here next month about the game. Oh, I'm sure we'll find out about the game, at least from him. More coming up, including your text. It's going to be open lines. You get a chance to drive the show today. Speaking of which, it is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Giovanni's Pizza. Fresh, hot, and tasty. Have it delivered right to your door. Giovanni's, the Italian place to be.
Here's another Kindred Communications community chatter. The Cabell Huntington Health Department's conducting a series of evening vaccine clinics this summer. The dates are June 3rd, July 1st, August 5th, and September 9th, taking place from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the department at 703 7th Avenue. No appointment is necessary.
This Kindred Communications Community Chatter brought to you by the providers at Marshall OBGYN, online at marshallhealth.com/OBGYN.
Get in the groove. Downtown Huntington's premier weekly music event is back. It's Mount West Ninth Street Live, presented by New Trail, Garage Beer, Big Truck, The Beast, La Marca Prosecco, and Matua Sauvignon Blanc. This Friday, it's College Career Center night with Jeremy Short and special guest Jace Turley on the Marshall OBGYN stage. The Little Caesars Kids Zone is back, and Gomart Happy Hour starts at 5. Enjoy food and drinks from the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, Sit Downtown Brasserie, and Summit Beer Station. Mark your calendar for June 21st for a ticket to ride to 9th Street Live, a celebration of the Beatles with the Newbies. Friday, August 2nd, 9th Street is Dead, featuring John Ingram's Dead Center and the music of the Grateful Dead. The Thundering Herd Rally is Friday, August 16th. 9th Street Live is driven by Yes Chevy, Yes Ford every Friday night through Labor Day. 9th Street in Huntington between 3rd and 4th Avenues. Sponsored by Delta Hotels, Marshall OBGYN, Wendy's, Mountain Mindful, City of Huntington, Marshall University, Impact Media, Xfinity, and Kindred Communications.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-694-1010. That's 1-800-694-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-694-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover guitar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
You're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Winner of the 2024 West Virginia Broadcasters Association Excellence in Broadcasting Award for Best Talk Show.
Welcome back to this Monday edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line this hour, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We'll recap what happened with the Cold Cats later on. Here's a story that came across not that long ago before we came on the air, and it ties right into NIL. Once again, NIL is rearing its now ugly head There's so many things that are happening now and getting to the point where it's not what it was truly intended for. It was for an athlete to be able to benefit from their name, their image, and likeness. For example, if I'm the starting quarterback for the Marshall Thundering Herd, I'm able to go out and maybe profit off my name. Maybe I have an opportunity where I'm going down to your local car dealership and I am going to be able to help sell cars just because I'm endorsing, I'm a spokesperson, or some other opportunities here. And it's gotten to the point now where we're turning this into here's cash, here's a whole bunch of things, come play for us. And they're even at the point now where players are saying, look, this is what it costs to get me here. Not what are the opportunities for me? Here's what my price is. You want me? Here's my price. It's becoming not what is intended. And it's really soured a lot of people on this. And now I think we're going to see more of a souring because according to reports from the Associated Press, there are 10 players from the 1983 NC State National Championship basketball team. They have sued not only the NCAA, but the Collegiate Licensing Company. They're looking for compensation for what they call unauthorized use of their name, image, and likeness. Now, according to the reports, this was filed today in Wake County Superior Court, and it's requesting a jury trial and reasonable compensation. Just a refresher, we all know Jim Valvano. His team won the 1983 National Championship. His team known as the Cardiac Pack because this was a group of players that known for their close victories. The victory in the national championship game was a 54-52 win over Houston. Valvano runs the court. We all know that image. It's replayed over and over and over again. Now, most casual observers, some college fans might know the players on this team, but most casual basketball fans probably know Jim Valvano. Most college basketball fans know who Jim Valvano is. But do you know the rest of the guys? Do you even remember, unless you're just a diehard, that they were the Cardiac Pack? Do you remember that? Did you know that? You might say, no, I didn't. If you did, hey, you're a student of the game. You know what's going on. And so here's what the lawsuit said. This is a quote. For more than 40 years, the NCAA and its co-conspirators have systematically and intentionally misappropriated the Cardiac Pack's publicity rights, including their names, images, and likenesses associated with that game and that play, reaping scores of millions of dollars from the Cardiac Pack's legendary victory. That is in the lawsuit. Obviously, the NCAA not commenting at this moment, according to the reports from the Associated Press. Probably don't have a statement ready just yet. But one player who's passed away there's no representation for him. There isn't like family tying themselves into this. And there's one player from that team, Derek Wittenberg. Take you back. He missed the 30-footer, and it was put back for the win. He's not among the plaintiffs. He actually is a staffer in the NC State Athletic Department. So the report from the Associated Press says that the suit contends that student athletes' value to the NCAA does not end with their graduation. Archival footage and other products constitute an ongoing income stream for the NCAA long after the students whose images are used have moved on from college. I would like to know what revenue stream are they missing out of when archival footage is being shown? What's the revenue stream that they are missing out on? Are we going to see more cases? If this thing goes through, are we going to see more claims? Are we going to see, for example, Chad Pennington and Randy Moss saying, look, nope, you're using all our highlights. We want paid off of that. You got to pay us. I'm just using it as an example. You think Randy needs the money? Think Chad would do that? No. Chad wouldn't do that. Randy wouldn't do that. They don't need the money. But, and this is a big but, and again, I don't think he would do it either. But what's one of the biggest images from Marshall Athletics in your mind? Think about it. What's one of the biggest images? Do you have one? I want to hear it. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. What is the biggest image in your mind that maybe gets replayed over and over and over again? Is it a football-related image? Is it a basketball-related image? If it's basketball, I'm going to say something that the NCAA maybe sometimes brings back up is the shot heard round the world, 1985, Bruce Morris. And I don't know what kind of revenue stream is being generated off of that highlight, but could you see a highlight like that that is shown constantly? Could Bruce tomorrow and go, you know what? I need paid off of that. There's some value here. It's a shot heard around the world. I need some value out of that. And again, I'm going with the absurd cases because there might be cases out there that sound absurd, but they're going to be real. What's going to be the line here? Because when you think of Jim Valvano and you think of NC State, you see the highlight. What's the revenue stream? How is that generating? Someone enlighten me, please. How is that generating money? Now, if you, as one of those former players, haven't been able to capitalize on that, I think that's more on you. Because now are we looking at a perpetual, and we've got to go back now. We're going to have to go back to all things NCAA. Are we not allowed to show highlights from championships? Are we not allowed? Will all of a sudden broadcasts of games also have to include a licensing fee to players? We're getting to that point. There's going to be a point where there are going to be championship games broadcast for the NCAA, or hey, look, where's our perpetual money here? You rerun that, it's like a royalty. Hey, you rerun an old TV show, there's a royalty attached, depending on the contract. It might not be much, but there are people who are making money off of reruns. I mean, for the longest time, if you were on the cast of MASH, I'm sure you had to make some decent money because there's somewhere in the world today where they're showing MASH. There had to be. Or name your old classic show, insert that. Somebody's making a royalty here. That's why some of the streaming shows, you lose shows off streaming because they don't want to pay the royalties. That's part of the reason why some of those archival shows disappear sometimes, is because they cost too much. Are we going to get to that point now where college athletics will have to factor in that as well? Like, okay, we've got this archival footage here of moments in the NCAA. How does that mean paydays for those? And how far do we go back? Do we go back and find more moments? And is it just moments? Is it just moments? Again, when do you see that? I mean, when you turn on the NCAA tournament, you turn on the highlights, and you see it in a highlight package. So now are we going to have to maybe erase some of that? Because, well, you can't use that without compensation. I don't remember who those players are. I know Jim Valvano. I don't know who those players are. I know who Jim Valvano is. I recognize Jim. Jim's the guy I think of. I don't think of these guys. I don't think of the cardiac pack. I think of Jim Valvano running on the court. Imagine your favorite player all of a sudden in a situation where they go through a moment and it's immortalized and they want paid for it for the rest of their lives because it's name, image, and likeness. Think about it. Who's the guy that you think of in football? I gave you a few minutes to think about this. I gave you the most absurd one for basketball because he's a cool guy. I don't think he would do something like this. Bruce Morris. He's just happy you remember him. I've talked to him a couple of times. He's been around the building now and then. You know, he's always super nice to talk to. Just grateful that people remember him. Had a great career at Marshall. What if Willie Merrick rolled up and said, look, hey, we're suing Marshall, and I'm suing the NCAA. We're suing everybody involved that's profiting off of my 1992 game-winning field goal. Again, these are moments that are maybe specific to Marshall fans just to kind of illustrate the point. But at the end of the day, only time I think about Jim Valvano and the NCAA tournament, I see that highlight package and go, hey, it's Jim Valvano running on the court. Oh, that was a great moment. Miss Jim Valvano, that was a great moment. And then I don't give that another thought until the next year when they roll that thing out. Who's profiting off of that? That's the big question for me. Who's profiting off of that? Who's profiting off of these things? Like, is there somebody profiting off of that highlight package? Can you explain to me where the money comes from in that highlight package? 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. I mean, it could be worse. It could be expensive cars being lined up in a parking lot for players to see. I mean, it could be something like that. It could be worse. Oh, wait, that does happen and has happened recently. We'll get your text in when we continue. More coming up on today's edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Let's face it, life is hard, and the thought of adding college classes to your busy schedule is exhausting. But it doesn't have to be. All you need is a support system that's got your back. At Ashland Community and Technical College, we're here to help you on your path to a better life. With faculty and staff who want to see you succeed and in-demand programs, this could be your life-changing moment. You've got this. Apply today at ashland.kctcs.edu. Ashland Community and Technical College. Never underestimate you.
Get everything for your next project today at Menards and save big money. Sarah Wire is an American-owned, leading manufacturer of electrical building wire for residential, commercial, and industrial applications. Menards stocks convenient, pre-cut lengths of wiring products for both indoor and outdoor projects. Save big on electrical wire and cable products at Menards. Also, view our weekly flyer on Menards.com and check out all our great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
Buddy's All-American Barbecue is now in Milton. Enjoy all your favorite Buddy's classics like pulled pork, brisket, ribs, and more on East Main Street in Milton. Buddy's All-American Barbecue, the home of great barbecue, ice-cold beer, and killer wings in Huntington and now in Milton.
Stirring fiber, exercising, frequent trips to the store for more laxatives and fiber. Sounds like your constipation with belly pain is a lot to manage. But if your symptoms that keep coming back are signs of irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C, ask your doctor how Linzess can help you get ahead of it. Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-694-1010. That's 1-800-694-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-694-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude.
How's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night.
Perfect. I love my job.
Oak Tree?
What's up?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think he would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay. Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Continuing on with today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line this hour, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Texter writes in and says, Paul, what about University of Texas and those Lamborghinis? It's getting out of hand. If you're not familiar with that story, thanks to the text, I thought that was just power schools flexing their power money. So the University of Texas had some Lamborghinis on display for recruits, and obviously this is a program with money, spending it now. That's been the big issue here over the years. Why the NCAA has lost all of its teeth. It's a toothless tiger now. Because with all of these verdicts, and the NCAA could have maybe gotten a little bit in front of this, maybe outlined this better and put something in place, and now we can proclaim the student athlete part all we want, but the power schools with the money, and it's just going to be the top power schools. It's not like West Virginia can roll out Lamborghinis. It's not like the WVU can do this. Marshall can't do this. WVU can't do this. I mean, could Kentucky do this? Maybe, maybe not. Could Ohio State do this? Yeah, Ohio State could do this. Definitely. Could Alabama do that? Yeah, Alabama could do that. We're just talking about like an elite class of school that's doing this. Not to say that they would do something like this. They might do other things. But yeah, if you were going to try to just flex your money muscle, there's only a few programs that could do this. Could Georgia do this? Probably. Georgia could do that. But again, if you're middle of the pack in one of the power conferences, could Wake Forest do that? Probably not. If you go to Wake Forest, you're playing at a Power 5 level, Power 4 level now, whatever you want to call it. But you're going to Wake for different reasons. You're playing really good competition, and you're getting a really good education. So if you are someone at Wake, you kind of have the benefits of being at a power institution and getting a good education. If you're going somewhere like Ohio State or Alabama or Texas, is the education really a factor? I mean, let's be honest. That's a farce now. The education is not the factor here. Academic standards got to be met, obviously, but it's not the big factor. It's what can you do for me? And so here you have a school like Texas flexing the muscle, Lamborghinis, and the name, image, and likeness, and every loophole you possibly can. So if I'm a Lamborghini dealer, am I really going to sell more Lamborghinis? If I'm partnering up with the University of Texas, am I selling more Lamborghinis? Probably not. If I'm a local car dealership, if I get a few Marshall football players to be on my team, selling my vehicles, is the normal consumer going to go, oh, hey, he's selling Chevys. I want a Chevy. No, not happening. And there might be a point where I don't think the name, image, and likeness money is going to dry up for the big schools. I don't think it's going to disappear. But at what point do you go, why am I giving all this money? It's not going towards the things to make the football team better. It's just going into the pocket of football players. And with the transfer portal, here today, gone tomorrow. Really, programs at this level now for Marshall are more like the audition for the next level. I didn't get a look first time around, so I'm going to go to Marshall, and I'm going to do well. And, Coach Huff's a guy who, he's good at I'm a running back. He's good at developing running backs, especially, hey, I'm all fired up for that. And if I'm good enough, I might be able to go somewhere else and take advantage of a better deal. Now, this doesn't apply to all players. This is not a blanket statement, but a lot of players are coming because, one, they're looking for an opportunity to play. They weren't getting it, weren't working out. They're looking for an opportunity to play. And if a player works out and has an opportunity to go to the next level and there's more playing time, or you're going to be playing for a high-profile program, or there's a lot of money involved, name, image, and likeness, there's going to be that constant, got to work the transfer portal. There are lots of reasons why players are in the portal. Lots of reasons why. Some are looking for better opportunities. Some are looking for a second chance. Some are looking to get to the next level. And what if we do away with scholarship limits? What if that goes away? And then that's going to hurt, I think, again, the Olympic sports a little bit more as far as the competitiveness of it, because there are a lot of players who might go for different opportunities because there's a scholarship involved. And if the power institutions can pay for that over a school like Marshall, could Marshall fully fund and put a scholarship in every student athlete's hand? Could every single student athlete at this point be on scholarship? I mean, we're worried about Lamborghinis here, but I'm worried about, hey, what about that student athlete just wants to come to Marshall because that's where they want to have their experience, and you want to give them the best opportunity to have a good experience and get an education. I'm still worried about that a little bit while we're seeing schools flex on Lamborghinis. But at the same time, you offer me a Lamborghini, I don't know how I'm paying for the taxes on that bad boy, but I'm going to try. Y'all take my Lamborghini. Absolutely. I might settle. I don't know. You can give me a Porsche. Is Porsche really settling from Lamborghini? What about Ferrari? Ferrari, Porsche, Lamborghini. Maybe not a Tesla, but all those other, I'd be good with that. Offer me an Audi. I'm okay with that. Yeah, I'll take an Audi. Rolls Royce, I'll take one of those. Yeah, give me one of those. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Good text. We will get more of those coming up when we continue on this edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Hey, let's talk about your favorite day. You'd probably say Christmas Day or maybe New Year's Day. Well, I'm here to make a pitch for Monday. That's right, I said Monday at Roosters at Pullman Square in Huntington, because on Mondays at Roosters, you can get 79-cent boneless wings. Or maybe Tuesday, when you can get the $3 featured appetizer of the week and 99-cent kids meals. Actually, let's talk about Thursday with a late happy hour featuring $1 wings. Enjoy your favorite day or days with over 40 TVs. Roosters, Pullman Square in Huntington, a fun, casual joint.
Our Kindred Communications family of stations reminds you of the need for blood donations to the Red Cross. Blood is always needed. It may save your life or the life of a loved one. This reminder is brought to you in part by
University of Rio Grande and Rio Grande Community College. Visit at rio.edu. Rio, changing tomorrows. Swisher and Losi Pharmacy, independently owned with free local delivery and drive-through service. 636 East Main Street in Pomeroy, Ohio.
Get in the groove. Downtown Huntington's premier weekly music event is back. It's Mount West Ninth Street Live, presented by New Trail, Garage Beer, Big Truck, The Beast, La Marca Prosecco, and Matua Sauvignon Blanc. This Friday, it's College Career Center night with Jeremy Short and special guest Jace Turley on the Marshall OBGYN stage. The Little Caesars Kids Zone is back, and Gomart Happy Hour starts at 5. Enjoy food and drinks from the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, Sit Downtown Brasserie, and Summit Beer Station. Mark your calendar for June 21st for a ticket to ride to 9th Street Live, a celebration of the Beatles with the Newbies. Friday, August 2nd, 9th Street is Dead, featuring John Ingram's Dead Center and the music of the Grateful Dead. The Thundering Herd Rally is Friday, August 16th. 9th Street Live is driven by Yes Chevy, Yes Ford every Friday night through Labor Day. 9th Street in Huntington between 3rd and 4th Avenues. Sponsored by Delta Hotels, Marshall OBGYN, Wendy's, Mountain Mindful, City of Huntington, Marshall University, Impact Media, Xfinity, and Kindred Communications.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-694-1010. That's 1-800-694-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-694-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-694-1010. That's 1-800-694-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-694-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
How was your day? What did you do in school? I'm Dale Lee, president of the West Virginia Education Association, and these two simple questions can encourage learning in your home. Showing interest and asking about the school day can help motivate your children and keep them excited about learning. So stay involved, stay curious, and ask specific questions Student success involves the whole family.
A message from the West Virginia Education Association.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Final segment of today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Text line's always open, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. You can find me throughout the day on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Paul Swann. Recruiting news over the weekend, Marshall signing a 3-star wide receiver, Sharon White Jr., for the class of 2025. He is out of Pickerington, Ohio, ranked by 24/7 Sports as the 58th overall prospect in the state of Ohio. And the 2025 class also ranked 178th best receiver in the nation. He did receive some other offers: Air Force, Army, Bowling Green, Kent State, Navy, and Toledo. Also, according to X, he was the wide receiver MVP of the 2024 Ohio Under Armour All-American Camp Series. 2023, he had 41 catches, 545 yards. That is 13.2 per catch. 995 all-purpose yards, 5 touchdowns. So out of Pickerington, Ohio, 3-star recruit coming to the herd. And, of course, the news floating around, it's not really shocking to me, but you know that the coaches are going around, it's coaching tour time. Fire the alumni up, go see parts of the herd fandom that maybe don't get a chance to see the coaches as much. And this was out of the Parkersburg News and Sentinel. This was out of June 5th that Chris Grassi, Marshall's soccer coach, signing a 7-year contract extension with Marshall. This was and if you were at this event, you already know this, but according to the article, he wants to coach at Marshall for the rest of his career. And this was announced at the Rally by the River event. And he wants to build. It's the community. He's in love with the community. The community has embraced him. I mean, it's moving forward. He's won a national championship here. It's a program that seems to want to build with him. There's always something going on at the soccer complex, including, you got a new video board coming up. I actually saw where the structure was going to be. I drove by the other day. And if you haven't already, you can drive by. You can see it real easy where they're going to put it. And I think it makes sense. It's going to enhance what's going on over at the soccer complex. I'll tell you what, the video board, it's going to be the same as softball and baseball. For baseball, I'm still iffy on it. I think that baseball needed a bigger board. I think for softball, it's perfect. I think for soccer, it's going to be fine. It looks like it's fitting. That's the only question I had was, how would that soccer board look and fit? And I think it's going to fit nicely. And at the same time, I think the baseball one down the line needs to be bigger. That's just my take on that. I'm sure some of you maybe have a different take on it, but I think that baseball, once everything's settled and you kind of have a really good handle on the facilities, and you can maybe look at upgrading that in the future. I know it's brand new. You're not going to upgrade it anytime soon, but I think a bigger video board probably would be suitable once they get everything in place what they want, because there's still more work to be done over at the field. That's not done. They're going to be working on it, including more seating. They're going to be upgrading, I'm sure, adding outfield amenities. There's going to be a lot more going on there. And, of course, that whole development area is going to build up. So it's really going to turn into a really nice area once it's all said and done. I mean, because right now you can just see the wilderness, albeit a cleaned up wilderness, but you look at it and you see the wilderness out there and you're thinking, okay, that could be something really cool soon with a proper game plan and including development back there. I think that's going to be a cool area for years to come. Tri-State Coldcats, the current occupant of the Jack Cook Field, won game 1, 2-1. All right, this was over the weekend. Sweeping the Kingsport Axemen, won game 1. All right, 2-1 on the board. It's a win. Game 2, 11-0. 11-0. Scored 8 runs in the first inning on how many walks? 7. 7 walks. 2 batters were hit by pitches, and there were 2 hits. We'll take it. We'll take it. The third game was rained out, so they didn't get to complete the 3-game sweep. Instead, bringing home the 2-game sweep back to Jack Cook Field. Up next, 4-game series starting tomorrow night against the Greenville Flyboys. Games begin on the air, 6:50 right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I like to see an offensive output like that. I mean, game was over already. Anticlimactic. We'll take it, though. So they get 2 on the win on the road. Let's see if they can get a home win. That's the next thing you're looking for, a home win for the home team, the good guys, taking on, again, I don't know if I like the Flyboys, the Greenville Flyboys. Not as cool as Axemen. Axemen's a better name. I like Axemen better than I like Flyboys. Appalachian League. Where do we stand right now in the Appy League? Well, Bluefield leading the East 4-1, and then the Pulaski River Turtles are 3-2, followed by the Danville Otterbots at 2-2. Tri-State is 2-2, and then the Burlington Sock Puppets are 2-3. Bristol, the Appalachian League Westers, are 4-1. Now, the Greenville Flyboys, according to the note provided to me by the intern, says that they're 3-1 in the standings. Of course, the Flyboys are a good team. So I'm wondering if they're going to be a really good team the way that Pulaski was. Because the impression I got from Pulaski was this is a team that could win the East. So the Flyboys are 3-1, only 1 blemish. Axemen are 1-3. The Elizabethton River Riders are 1-4, and the Johnson City Doughboys are 1-4. So Greenville's coming in. We got another good team coming in. Still don't have a handle for all these teams just yet. I mean, are the Flyboys good? Is that 3-1 good? Did they beat good competition? I mean, I'm sure that, we thought the River Turtles were good. They won the first 2 games, but then they go 1-2 over the weekend, so they're 3-2. How's this shaping up? We're going to find out because the River Turtles take on the Axemen tomorrow night. We'll get a kind of idea which team was better. I'm going to say Pulaski is better than the Axemen. And, of course, we're going to find out if the Flyboys are any good. All that's coming up tomorrow. We've got the games for you right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. That's going to do it for this edition. For our producer, research analyst, engineer, Ben Anderson, I'm Paul Swann. Thanks for tuning in. You've been listening to The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Don't forget, if you missed any part of today's show, you can go back and catch it. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, just wherever you get your podcast. Is there any other place you get your podcast other than Apple or Spotify? Well, if you do, we're there. Go check it out. Thanks for tuning in. Be back with you tomorrow here, ESPN 94.1 AM 930.
Retransmitting in glorious FM on 94.1 W227BS Huntington. This is 930 WRVC Huntington, celebrating 100 years of broadcasting.